Hi, I'm Kathleen, a 3L law student and LSAT tutor. I help students, especially those who learn differently, to break down the LSAT into clear, teachable strategies. And in today's video, we're going to discuss reading comprehension. So this is a strategy called mapping that really helps to save time. And let's dive in. Okay. So most LSAT students lose time in reading comprehension by reading too much too slowly or without direction. So this is going to aim to help fix that. Now, also keep in mind, I'm going to show you, about a little bit about mind mapping, and that's going to help you to kind of look at ways you can kind of assess. One of the things we do at Link is to look at the way you learn best. So make sure you're addressing that because if you're using the way you learn things, you acquire skills the fastest, and that's just about being more efficient with your time. So if you haven't already looked at the video that we have about how to study best for your learning type, take a look for that video. So this is a little bit about mind mapping. So what the problem is, so you're reading every word equally, you're getting lost in all the details, and you're running out of time before the LSAT passage. So you want to be able to go into it, look at what you're looking for, and kind of develop almost this picture in your mind of what's most important. And if you look at this diagram we've got here of the mind map, this is for someone who learns well out of seeing things mapped out or drawings. You may be someone who likes to see things put out into a table. You like to learn key terms and definitions to kind of build those blocks as you go. And this mind map gives you a way to kind of quickly look at the question and be like, all right, in the middle is what the question's about, and then here are the supporting details. So let's look at how to do that. So the core strategy in active passage mapping is don't read everything equally, focus on the structure, not the details, and build a quick map of the passage as you go. So what I would tell you to do is get a passage and as you read it, map it out and use different colors and kind of what was important and what's not important and why. So, how to map it. Paragraph one, you want to map your main topic and your author's stance. Paragraph two, the new idea or the evidence. Paragraph three, counter argument or the contrast. And paragraph four is the wrap up or the conclusion. Boom, boom, boom. You've got four things that you're quickly looking to get out of the passage. What to note. In the margin, you want 2 to 3 words that identifies the main idea, the evidence, the opposing view, and the conclusion. I want to stop you two for a minute here and remind you, don't stress out at this point over the timing that this is taking. You're in a learning space. But once you've practiced this, and you will do so many of these in review, that it will eventually get quicker on its own. So right now, focus on learning to identify the main idea, the evidence, the opposing view, and the conclusion when you read it, and then break that information out. It will come faster as that becomes more automated for you, more something that you just kind of go in and instinctively do, or that muscle memory gets built. Okay, example. Here's a passage. Some scholars argue the Constitution is a living document adapted to new contexts. Others insist it must be interpreted based on original intent. Okay, so margin notes. Paragraph one, living document, which equals adaptation. Paragraph two, original intent and view. Boom, that's it. See how quickly we were able to pull out what's important? And I know you're saying, Kathleen, that's like not even a sentence, how's that a paragraph? That's how we're referring to it at this point. And that's kind of how we're breaking it down. And we're simplifying it so that you can kind of see the exercise. So why this saves time? A, you don't have to reread the whole passage when you go to compare it to your answer stems. And B, you know where to find answers. And C, your focus stays on the structure and not on distractions. Because remember, there might be more other details in there, right? And you want to keep, for example, in paragraph one, do we care about some scholars? No, we don't. We care about the living document and the fact of adapting it. We know we can reference back to other parts if we need to in our mind, but knowing the living document and adaptation part, those are the key pieces from that paragraph that we have to remember. So that's the notes you're going to put in the margin as you read your paragraph. All right. So when skimming, your eyes should land on contrasting words such as however, but, although, and yet. And you've been learning to go in and highlight and find those words, right? And maybe you're using different colors to highlight them because they mean different things to you. So, cause and effect words, because, therefore, thus, since. Opinion signals. So we know someone's going to lead with an opinion when they say things like, well, clearly, or unfortunately, or surprising, or it's important, or in the opinion of, right? Names, dates, and theories, proper nouns or technical terms often test the details of the question, and shifts in tone. So when you notice it moving from neutral to critical or from background to argumentative, those are things you want to kind of grip a hold of. And as you start to read these passages more, you'll grab that. Extra tools, practice with a timer. So this again, you're only going to add that timer once you're starting to feel confident. And that's when you can start to put that pressure of the timing on yourself. Skim answer choices for keywords before rereading and use your mapping, jump directly to the relevant paragraph. Okay. How to skim. Don't read every word. Instead, let your eyes bounce down the page, stopping on signal words. Highlight or underline only what matters, author's viewpoint, shifts, and evidence markers, and aim for 8 minutes per passage. This forces you to avoid perfectionism. So the 8 minute timer, I only want you to bring in once you feel like you've started to reach mastery, because the timing piece is a mastery part, right? Margin notes. So you're getting really quick at those margin notes. So paragraph. Some researchers argue climate policy should prioritize adaptation to warming. However, others emphasize mitigation. Mitigation insists that reducing emissions is the only sustainable path forward. Trying to read too fast. Skimming notes. So what have we got? What are the key things we need to pull out of there that matter when we're trying to remember the point of the paragraph? Adaptation focus, contrast mitigation, and author sides with, and you would check the next couple lines to what the author's perspective or point of view is. Okay, so remember, you're training your brain to see structure instead of drowning in details. Most LSAT questions ask about relationships, main point, or the author's stance, not random details. If a detail is tested, your keyword notes will tell you exactly where to go back and find it because you've mapped it out. Another thing that sometimes I have students practice is how much of the paragraph can you black out completely, redact it, and still know what's happening in that paragraph. And that's a good exercise to do as you're learning to teach yourself to pick out the information that's most important. I also want you to recognize that this actually is a skill you're going to use in law school, because being able to read like this, you're going to read mountains of case law, and becoming efficient at being able to identify the author's position, the important relationships, the structure of those things quickly is going to impact whether or not you can be successful in law school. So don't feel like you're wasting your time by training yourself to start reading this way. It's definitely a tool you'll use in law school. Okay, mastering reading comp is about structure, not speed. And I know we brought up the 8 minutes, but don't focus on that first. It will come. Use passage maps to save time and boost your accuracy. And for full strategies and weekly practice, check out my LSAT course. The link is in the description, and we'd love to have you. We have both an 8 and a 12-week course available. They're priced very reasonably, and we offer weekly support and one-on-one tutoring. So check us out at LINK. And don't forget to subscribe.